All right, so now we are looking at the slide. We are very clear with this slide. Now we look at the business components. See, this is very important. Remember in the last slide I said that this data address, let's consider only account and address. These account name, site and the address. This whole address is basically stored in a separate table. As we talked, whenever it is an MVF, it is in a separate table. Account name and account site, they are in the primary table called as account table. In this case, it is account table. That's where these will be stored. So they need to get combined at some point. Somewhere a code needs to be written that this is how this needs to be combined. As such, computer does not know, or the system does not know. System does not know where to store the data. Somebody has to tell the system, hey, you know what, I'm storing address in this table. I want you to store account name and account site in this table. These are the two separate tables here. In this database, there are two separate tables. One is account name, one is account address. These are two separate tables. Right? Within the database, there are two tables. Somewhere you have to write the code. Software developers, they say the place where you write the code, make it a separate module. It should be separate. The place where you write the GUI, how to show the data, should be separate. It should be separate. That's why these three layers comes into picture. Do you think everybody does the same way? No. Some people make a hodgepodge. They make the, they prepare the data. We call it business logic layer is preparing the data to show, but it is not shown yet. GUI is where it is shown.
Right.
It's preparing the data. Business logic layer is preparing the data.
So
Because it is lying in a separate place. If I ask you, can you please give me khana? Can you please give me food? You will go get the plate from someplace, get the katori from someplace, bowl from someplace. You will get the pickle from someplace. You will get the vegetable from someplace. You will get the pita or bread from someplace. You put all this in one. Get the spoon from someplace. Put it there and give it to me. Then preparing the data before you give it to me is business logic here. It's stored somewhere else. It is stored in different places. Actually, everything in world is pretty much like this. We all store in things, but then when it comes to presentation, we put it in a place, then we give it to somebody. Right? Now, interesting thing is, what is business logic layer? Let me tell you what is business logic layer. The data, the actual spoon, plate, and everything is actually data lying somewhere. The assembled plate, ready to go, is the GUI layer. Business logic layer is a set of rules which are written in your mind. But in this case, if you have to ask a robot to do it, you have to write these rules here. He should know whenever he is preparing the plate, he should put pita and bread in the plate, not in the bowl. And he should put vegetable in the bowl, not in the plate. We all know these rules. These are in our head. But if you are asking some robot to do this thing, you have to explicitly write these rules somewhere, right? Right? And we all understand that the storage is separate, the presentation is separate, but that rules, they are totally different. So the person who devised this rules or devised this architecture of keeping these three things separate in the software world also, in a software code also, he was not a genius. He was talking common sense. He was talking something very simple, which we all know and we do. Even if you ask, right? Even if you have to do something, you will also model your this thing in the three ways. One is how to present it, how to store it, and how to bring it from storage to presentation. That is the second layer, is the business logic layer. This is very important. This is how data gets joined or linked. These are the rules which data follows. Once it gets joined or linked, it shows in this layer called as the GUI layer. But before that, it is lying here. These are the rules this is the layer where you write all the rules, where you means developer writes all the rules. In case of Siebel, the good news is that all these rules and everything is already written. Everything is ready to go. Presentation is ready to go. Business logic layer is ready to go. The database rule and everything is, database tables and columns and everything are ready to go. As we just thought, the problem comes when you have to change it. Siebel implementation is all about customization. There's a little bit of customization involved. They say typically they will change it by 5 to 20%. Okay, those changes, when you're doing those changes, you should not be spoiling the actually existing the rest of the application. So that is all about Siebel skill. That is a skill that you guys will have. As far as Siebel is concerned, it's already ready to go functioning application. It's like a fry. It's like a fry. It's ready to go. So the only place is when you want to change the some attribute of Ferrari. Let's say you want to change the headlights. Make sure that you don't change the steering's attribute. The steering should remain same. So same way. So in case of Siebel also, so this is what business logic layer is. Okay, it's hard to understand because it's conceptual. It's virtual in nature. You don't see it. Even in your day-to-day life, as you see, rules, where are they? Right. They are in the mind. You understand that there is a final plate. Then there are spoons, plate, things, everything lying somewhere else. Somewhere in between, there is a very important gap. That gap is business logic. That's where you write all the things. Right?
Sure.
So business components, data in the UI, we all understand that part. I will show you one business component here. Okay. So we all understand that the data goes, as far as this slide is concerned, business components are a collection of data in the database reorganized to reflect the user's business. Now, business logic layer in case of Siebel has very specific name. The data organizations, little pockets that become. This is how I will show you. If I have to conceptualize it, I'll say that account and address combining rules. And how to combine, I will call with my poor English, I'll just call it account and address combining rules. Okay, so the rules to combine account and address data, that is what I'm really trying to say. Okay, so all these rules are written here in the business logic here, and this particular set, this thing is called as business component. Okay, this is my version of
rules.
Yeah, the set of rules. Okay, this is my version of explaining the thing. Let's see what he wants to say. He says it's a collection of data in the database reorganized to reflect the user's business. Correct. Account and address, if he wants to see together, he's taken the things to one more level. He's trying to say from the business point of view. Yes, why don't we combine account and sites? Why don't we combine account and something else? Why are we combining account and address? Simply because he's trying to say it is relevant to the user. That's a good thing, right? That's a very good point. Account and address. So whatever user says, I want these two things to be combined, you will combine it, and then you will then it is a reorganization. That's written here. It's a reorganization. That's what I already said. It is a reorganization. Account and address are lying in a different table. It is a reorganization. They get clubbed. The only thing he's saying is, he says it is a collection of data itself, and I'm saying it's a rule. And I can tell you, I'm right, he's wrong.
Okay.
It is not the actual collection of data. Data never gets collected. It is a rule how to collect the data.
Which data to collect.
And which data to collect. How to collect. Right? All this is written. It is not the actual data. You will never see it. It's virtual. He's trying to say it's a collection of data. That's what database is. That's a collection of data. Segregated according to RDBMS rules. This is collecting or reorganizing the data. This is reorganizing data and the rules to reorganize the data, not the reorganization actual. The actual reorganization you will never see. That is a virtual thing.
In the business layer, there is no Perrier Group of America. It is just, table A, cell B, row 3.
Correct.
That's all
It
that
will be,
is.
yes.
The GUI is
Shows that
what's in these cells.
GUI is what shows that. Perfect. Organize data from the user's business perspective for presentation in the UI. Perfect. That's where you guys come into picture. Business analyst. Business analyst talks to the user and asks him, hey, you know what, from your perspective, tell me from your perspective, what all data would you like to see here? And I will make sure the developer develops the things here. So this is a very important line for you. Organize data from the user's business perspective from presentation in the UI. You have to understand whatever shows here is just a presentation. As you pointed out, sir, before, this is the backbone. This is the backbone. This is where all the problems stem from. This is where all the capabilities stem from. Opportunities and threats come right from here. If it is possible to store it, it will go here. If it is not possible to store it, nothing, then it cannot be done. Then you will never be able to see it. This is a set of rules. You got to understand. You got to understand. Once you know how to store, you will know how to combine. If you know the rule, whenever you get the plates from the Walmart, put it in the closet A. When you get the bowls from the Walmart, put it in the closet B. Then you know when you are serving to the guest, get the plate from closet A, get the bowl from closet B. You know this thing, right? So this business logic layer, you will be able to think through easily. This is where all the issues stem from. But you have to again understand, users are human beings. Same information they may want to see in two different ways. For example, here, see, we have this screen layout. They might just start talking about the presentation. Hey, you know what? I want this status field not to be here, to be here. I want this synonym field to be here, not to be here. They might also say, I want this to be read only. This is a GUI layer, or this is a business logic layer. Remember, rule. Data is stored there. Perfect. How will you show it? Can you change it? Can you not change it? All these rules, the privileges, all these, we call it 4 privileges, right? Always there are 4 privileges, CRUD privileges. These privileges will be decided somewhere here or here. I think we talked about it.
Actually, would you say the CR?
These are the 4 privileges. These are spelled like create, read, update, delete. CRUD. These privileges are stored here in the business logic layer. So it could be we had a little. We will be having a talk that when it comes to storing the rules, some of the rules can be stored at GUI also. I think we had a talk about it. Some of the validation rules can be stored here, but that's a different thing. As far as combining the data rules are concerned, they are always here. Combination of data never occurs in GUI, but then there are validation rules and some other business rules, some other smaller rules. They can be stored in GUI too, but those are like not related to combining the data. Those are like making the data read only and things like those are some other rules. We'll talk about all that. But as far as combining the data rule is concerned, they are always in business logic layer. Yep. One thing is sure, you guys will get into responsibility and position in chapter 8. If you guys have already gone through one run, then this whole discussion is very relevant to you. If this is your first run and you haven't done chapter 8 and 9 and 10, then please listen to that before you understand what I'm going to say now. See, responsibility and position is one data access thing. See, this is what Siebel is all about. Siebel has modularized everything that happens to the data. Everything. Certain things are governed by business logic. Certain things are governed by responsibility and position. Certain things are governed by. As far as access control is concerned, that is a very separate type of business rule. How the data will be accessed, what data will be read-only and not be read-only, or what data will be read-writable. Those are different types of rules. Siebel has a different place where all these things should go. As you can clearly see, some people confuse access with this thing, but I would say this is not access. To me, this is not access because I've been in software. But I can see anybody will say, if you cannot change the data, then there is no access. So it should be called as an access rule too, right? But in Siebel, we call physical ability to look at the data is access. Whether you can look at it, whether you can see to it, whether you can get to it. Once you get to it, what operations can you perform is a different thing. You see, right? So one is position, get to it. Second is responsibility, what operations can you perform. Third one is how it is combined already, how it can be combined. Those are all something else. That is business logic. The things will become crystal clear. The questions you're asking, the confusions you're having are of high class. You got my point? All right. When these things get combined, Like within the context of account, there is a synonym table. There is a synonym table here. There is a synonym table. So there are many other tables. There is a team member table, right? For this MVG, for this MVG. So anyway, all those tables, all this data gets combined, or the rules. Okay, one more thing. Even I will be calling henceforth it gets combined, but you have to remember it. This is the rules only. But this is the way everybody speaks about it. It gets combined here. Data gets combined here. Data gets combined here. But it's basically business components, a set of rules how data will be combined as we talk. But always remember, everybody talks the same way. I'm not gonna start saying the things the way people don't say. You know, one of the things is my class is all about how people do these things. Not about being purist. Not about, sometimes we might even end up being illogical. We will try to use the common lingo as much as possible. I'll try to bring you close to the common lingo. All it might be wrong. Okay. For example, from now onwards, even I will call it that data gets combined here. Okay. So data gets combined here, and it becomes one account, etc. Everything is here. Everything gets combined here. This thing where everything gets combined is called as business component.
Business
Component. Again, essentially it is a set of rules how data will get combined. But as we talk, you know, we say that this I'm sorry, what is it? It's getting called business component.
So where it's gathered.
Yes. Data gets reorganized.
Where data is reorganized.
Behind the scenes, you will see in Siebel, there are business components for account, the business component for opportunity, there will be a business component for service request, there will be a business component for contact, there will be a business component for activity. Right?
So these will all be individual hubs
Yes.
where the information will be
Well, you
reorganized.
reorganized.
Spit
Yes.
back out.
Yes. Again, as you know, it will be a rule written there. There will be no actual data. Whereas in table, you will see the actual
Right,
data.
right, exactly.
So, but again, from the next now onwards, even I will call it the data gets reorganized. I will not say it is the set of rules. Okay.
Okay.
View, a collection of related lists and forms representing a functional business area. Remember, I told you it's basically pretty much like a web page.
Mm-hmm.
Functional business area, like I don't know what he's trying to say, but I will say that basically what he's saying is that this is where you come and you do your work. You cannot be in a particular applet and just do your work and not work in the other applet. So whenever somebody says, hey, you know what, I want to see accounts, activities, and contacts in one place so that I can work on it. Basically saying he needs one view where all these three things are put together, right? So at any given point of time, what is I'm working on? What is the user working on? He's working on a view. Whatever is accessible on that view, whatever functions he can perform on that view, is what his area of activity. That's his work right there. He looks at it, and you know he whatever he can access from there. All these things are like the various properties of a view, and he's basically that's one of the each and every view is basically a functional component, a particular functional business area that is working on. Quite a complex lingo, nobody uses this thing, but you should remember view is where, you know, at any given point of time, any user is on a particular view and he's working on that view. A collection of related lists and forms. Obviously, you're a smart guy. You will not make irrelated lists and forms in a view, right? Like, you know, if you have to serve the water to somebody, you're gonna serve it in a jug and a glass. You're gonna give him a jug and a bucket, right? Put it in the bucket and drink it. You're gonna make. Can't you put this together? You can. But are you smart enough not to do that? Yes, you're smart enough. You will never do that. So related lists and forms is not something that Siebel dictates. It is your smartness. In fact, Siebel out of the box has been quite smart too. Siebel has given you related lists and forms only. For example, this one, this list and this form. Could you put briefing here? Could you put protocols here? Yes, you could.
You
Protocol,
could.
you could, you know, but how much dominance will it take for you to do that? I mean, that's too much. You just should not be doing. But at the same time, a view is a related list and form. That's what makes logical sense. So it is your smartness. Business analyst designs the views. And one more thing. All right. So now talk from a business analyst perspective. Okay, it makes a lot of sense to have. Sorry. To have this view, account on the top and the calls at the bottom. A user might say, hey, you know what, I like it. Account on the top, calls at the bottom, what I want. Activities also somewhere here.
Okay.
They can come. They do that all the time. And that's a very good request. Because whatever out of the box relationships people thought are good may not be good for their business. They might want something else. For example, the forms that you might have been using in your business would have been different from this, right? So that's a very valid request, and they do it all the time. So anyway, a view, as he says, is a collection of related lists and forms representing a functional business area. List and form applet, he must say here. List and form applet.
So you can have, if somebody said, I want to see activities, that would be the third applet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can have multiple applets.
Okay.
Yes.
But you must have two.
Yes. And obviously, as a business analyst, you must understand the relationship between two, why they should be together, why they should not be together. And when you're talking to the users, it should be making a sense from a business standpoint also. For example, if it says, I want all the accounts here, and I want all the institutions here, there is no relationship between accounts and institutions. You'll say, what do you want? Why do you want to do that? Unless there is a relationship between the two entities, the one that they want to see up there and the one they want to see down there, unless until there's a relationship between those two entities, you don't allow them. You don't recommend that.
No functionality.
Yeah, that's not a good functionality. That's not something that creates a good work environment. I mean, you're saying that, let's keep a jug and a bucket at the same place. Let's keep, bread and a projector at the same place, These are all, this is possible, but you don't do that. So you will be making a final call. At the same time, use Vanilla Siebel as a guide. Whatever is Vanilla Siebel is they researched a lot. They did a lot of research. And they studied industries, and that's how they came out with these relationships. So they haven't done a good job. They have come up with a generic version of Siebel, and they're quite good. And especially for the Siebel licenses, which is for Siebel, this pharmaceutical industry, they've come up with a generic version for pharmaceutical industries very nicely. The requirements are usually not too way off what is presented in Vanilla, but still they will be there, and you should be you'll find yourself in a situation where people are telling you new things. You're going to hear them, you're going to give your views, tell them why they are not relevant, or tell them why they're not good ideas. You need to develop a penchant for that. Okay? Next slide. Business object. Organize business components and relationships to each other so related data can be displayed in a view. Yes. Business object is a combination of business components. Quite less relevant here. Business object, even in the day-to-day life, will not hit you too much. Okay, will not hit you too much. But there is one correction I would like to make. Business component is not usually always made of account name, account site will be in the same table, but other SVFs will be in the different table.
Secondary tables.
Secondary tables. MVGs are always in a secondary table, right? Business component is made of account, whatever is an account table and other SVFs. Okay?
Okay.
And account and other SVFs and address table, which are the MVFs, and synonym table, which are the other MVFs or MVGs, all these get together in a business object. Okay? Oh, all right. How does it change the things for you? Really not much. Maybe that is the reason that error occurred from my part, because we really had to understand that at some point the things get connected to each other, and that's what the business logic here is. And business component, business object, what is segregation between them? You will never ever see that in your life. You will never be really working on business components and business object, because that's not your day-to-day duty. Your day-to-day duty is design the way and understand the limitations imposed by this backbone called as database. So business object and business component will not be something that you'll be working on. How to combine this data, how to write these rules and everything is basically a developer's job, and he'll be doing all that stuff. So
For the most part, that's already done.
yes. But whenever you make a little change, in GUI you want to change the database, he'll have to do the changes here,
Yeah.
and he'll be thinking about it. So, but the important thing to remember is account name and site and other SVFs, other single value fields which are stored in other tables.
Are all primary tables.
Yeah, let me write it properly. Other SVFs. So combining this and this is business component, and combining this, everything is called as business object. But from our perspective, it just becomes a business logic layer item. Okay. Let me give you an example of other SVF. I've been talking about it. I should show it at least once. So this account is a single value field. Is it right? Can you have multiple accounts listed here?
Not in that one field, no.
No. And these are, as you know, these are pick account. This is a pick applet. This is not an MVG. So you can pick one from here. So one of the important things I learn is this is an SVF, but this is not in opportunity table. This is in the account table. The relationship is more made in this business component right here. This and this. So this is the other SVF. Account is in the other, in this context. Opportunity is this one, the primary table in this case, right? They both get combined and make one business component here. Okay. And in this case, sales team member, this will be other MVG, right? Let me see if there is any other MVG here. Yeah, there is no other MVG here. So these are the various MVGs here. Okay. Business objects relate business data. A business object contains information about the relationships between business components, represents a collection of BCs and the relationship between them. Perfect. As you know, an account has multiple addresses. So, for example, let's go back to the account table again. An account has multiple addresses. If you look at the business object, you will see the component as well as the address as a child of that component. The class of trade. An account can have multiple classes of trade. Sure, you will see that account and the class of trade as a child component, child business component. If you ever get into this layer, if you ever get into this business logic layer, okay, you'll see that this is you'll see the collection. Okay. Represents a collection of BCs and the relationship between them. Okay, we got it. We shouldn't be too much finicky about this. The overview that I gave, that basically this is where the data gets collected and the rest set of rules that are written here, that's the most important thing, and you know it now. So don't worry about the rest. He's talking about a lot of things which are good for configurators. And remember, this course originally is for configurators. Okay. Parent and child business components. A business object contains a parent or master business component. All other BCs within the BO are child BCs of the parent BC. Parent and child business components typically represent one-to-many record relationships. Okay, just as we talked about, parent and child, or primary or secondary, same thing. We were talking about primary and secondary. Is calling it parent or so. Within the context of account is primary. But remember, in the context of opportunity is primary. Okay, right? Sales team member would be secondary. Okay, we need to remember that part.
Okay.
In the context of site personal is primary. One more thing, you know where to go and check the business component name, right? This is a business component name, clinical investigator for this site personal. This one, the name of the business component is contact. You know that, right? Right? It's in the GUI, Civil GUI basics.
Right.
This is the name. So why the name is written here in the help? It just helps in troubleshooting. When there's an issue in the GUI, then
you kind of know where to go on the back end to find.
Yes.
Under what headings.
Yeah. So user does not care about this business component, but developer will say user will call developer, I'm facing this problem, and say, okay, can you go to help about you and tell me what is a business component? Okay, so that's how.
Okay.
All right. Next thing, Parent and child business typically represent one-to-many record relationships. A view in the UI shows the relationship of more and more business components within one business object. You know what is a one-to-many and many-to-many and many-to-one relationship? Have you ever heard of this phrase?
Yes.
Do you know what it is?
I've heard of one-to-many.
What it is?
One-to-many just means one attached to multiple supporting, like evidence,
Okay.
essentially.
House to people, house to individual.
Mhm.
What kind of relationship is it?
The house is the individual.
One-to-many, many-to-many, or many-to-one?
One-to-one.
One house, one individual?
Well, that's what you're saying, right?
I'm asking.
It could be one, it could be 50,
Yes.
depending on the size.
Yes. Yeah. So in one house, multiple individuals can be there, right?
Yes.
So individual and soul.
That's one-to-one? Okay.
You see?
So one-to-many is one to...
Potentially there can be, even if it's one right now, but it could be potentially multiple, right? One house, right? Individual to house. What do you think?
That's one-to-soul, apparently.
One to one?
Yeah, isn't that what you're just saying? I'm confused as to what you're saying. I don't know if you're telling or if you're asking.
Okay, I'll ask you.
Okay.
What's individual to house relationship?
It can be one-to-many.
Perfect. Exactly. Yes, exactly. It can be one to many. Yes. An individual can have multiple houses, right? Right. Cornflakes boxes to Kroger.
I'm sorry. Boxes?
The relationship. Can you tell me whether it's one to many? So it's question. Question is, cornflakes boxes, the box of cornflakes, and Kroger. It's a grocery store.
Right. Would that be many to one?
It's many to many because one Kroger can have multiple cornflakes boxes,
Right.
and one cornflake box can be in only one Kroger. You're right. So it's
Okay. Yeah, I was like,
it's one to many. So for, one more thing, when we say so the sequence is important. So it's many to one.
Okay.
So right, sequence is important. So it's multiple cornflake boxes in one location, right? So so they cannot be in like more than one location, but one location can have multiple boxes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Let's talk about now Siebel world. Account to contact. An account can have multiple contacts or not.
Yes.
So it's a one-to-many relationship,
Okay.
right? Okay, I've been saying something in a wrong fashion. Now I'll start correcting it. It's better that I do it now rather than do it later. Because my idea was to first make you understand one to m and n to one, but there's a thing called as m to n. You have whenever you are thinking about a relationship, you have to think about the forward relationship and the reverse relationship. Account to contact is one to m. What about contact to account?
N to one.
Do you think one contact can be part of only one account?
No, actually, no. One contact can be as part of as many accounts as necessary.
Right? So it is not one to m or m to one, it is actually m to m, always.
Both ways.
So you have to consider both ways whenever you speak.
Okay.
Okay? So it has been a wrong thing. So I have been saying this. So when you are also, so we have to say like that, okay? Contact to opportunity. So you have to think one contact can have multiple opportunities or not.
Yes.
Similarly, one opportunity, can it be with multiple contacts?
It can be. I don't think that it usually would be. But it can be, yes. It can be.
It can be.
It can.
It can be, right? So that's M to M relationship, right?
Okay.
Right? Is it right?
Yes.
Account to asset. Account to asset.
That will be one to one.
One account can have only one asset.
Well, I'm thinking. Well, because of
Very importantly, we don't think of the instance. We think of the entity. Asset is an entity.
okay. So it can be many to one, because it is, the asset is to that one account. You're not going to take assets from another account and all of a sudden attach it to
Yeah.
a different account.
You-
So you're
you-
many to one.
Yeah. Conceptually, your answer is right. Factually, you just change the account to asset is 1 to m. That's how we say. But
Account to asset.
yeah. But Kenny, let's think. Let's think one thing very important. Can an asset belong to multiple accounts?
No.
No.
Yes, it can.
How?
Unfortunately, I've forgotten the definition of asset.
Asset is something that somebody has bought.
Right.
So that's asset. So can you tell me, like, can an asset belong to multiple accounts?
No, I don't think it can.
Just think, Southwest and American Airlines, they buy one plane from Boeing because they're poor airlines. They don't have money. So they both get together to buy one plane. I and you get together. You open a company, Kenny Consulting. I open a company, Boeing. We get together and buy one plane. Is it possible?
Yes, it is
And then we
possible.
both utilize it.
It is
And when I call, Boeing has to give me service. When you call, Boeing has to give you service. Right? So it is possible. Looks like every relationship in the world, in civil world, is many to many.
Is that essentially what we're saying?
Well,
Because it seems that way.
it seems that way. But we'll take our theory because you're smart, understand everything. So I will try to tell you the main gist. Now that you understand what is M to M, M1 to M, M to 1, and M to M, we have to take it to the next level. You have to understand that what business wants is very important. M to M is the costless relationship. 1 to M is less costly. M to 1 is even less costly. If, for example, in my business, in Alta Vista, one contact can be part of only one account. We told them, if you want one contact to become a part of multiple accounts, Siebel can do that. It's going to cost you money. And we told them how much, and they decided not to go for account-to-contact relationship as M2M. They just want 1 to M between account and contact. That means in our system, for one account you can put only you can put multiple contacts, but for one contact you can put only one account. In our system that we have created for Alta Vista, there are many things which determine which relationship should be supported and which relationship should not be supported. That's BA work. Typically, when you will go to your job site, we call it client site, when you go to our client site, you will see that they will be playing with 20 entities, not more than 10, 15, 20 entities. And on the very first day, I'll tell you how in your business it fits. And the logic behind everything. There will be 2-3 lines supporting each and every logic. Once you understand that, and you can talk in the meeting, you will be able to give the perfect input that comes from you, that is expected from you as a BA. Decisions are made by a team. You are not the only one there. Big decisions will be made by your lead BA, business users, everybody will be making those decisions. Technical architect will be sitting there, they will be making all this. You should be able to understand what they are talking about. You should. So, you see, those meetings will occur where they'll be thinking whether we should have 1 to M relationship, M to 1, M to M. You understand what it means, and you understand that M to M is costlier, 1 to M is less costly, M to 1 is even less costly, and 1 to 1 is very, very cheap. But how does it matter? How it comes into being? How it is decided? All these things definitely you gotta learn down the line, right? This is something that you learn over a period of time. I can give you certain small ideas. Let me give you one. In case of Alta Vista, just in case of a doctor, just think. In case of a pharmaceutical company, just think it's very important. One doctor can be part of multiple hospitals. Is it right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's right. He can be. Let's say this is an account, and I know these are the 5 contacts working for it. These are 5 doctors who work in that hospital. It is useful to know. Also, Not only doctors work there, but also a receptionist works there, and an invoicing lady works there. It is very important for me to find out who is the invoicing person, and who is the billing person, and who is the actual person whom I give the samples, and who is the CEO of the company, whom I will be basically bribing. whatever, whatever I will be doing with. Who is the purchasing officer, whom I will be taking out for dinner. I may not be taking the invoicing guy for dinner. So for that, for us to do our business, it is very important. In this case, in this hypothetical case, for me, it's very important to know all these 5 people and know that these 5 people are working for this guy, this account, this hospital, city hospital in Poway, California. This is very important for me to know that this hospital has these 5 people, and I need to know. Let's see the importance of the reverse relationship. This information is important, so system has to store it. So users should be able to see it in GUI. So thing is clear what I was trying to say. I was trying to say that because this relationship is important for me to do my business, for the user to do his business, he will say he needs to see it in GUI, and I need to make a provision for in the database for this relationship. Agreed. Agreed. I will definitely use a one-to-one relationship in this case. Definitely use. Let's see whether I will use an M2M or not. What is the use? BA will ask the user, what is the use? What do you guys do with this information that this contact has these 2 accounts? User might say, look, one of the sample uses, very beautiful uses. He says, if I know that this purchasing officer works for this ABC hospital and he also works for this XYZ hospital, then I will take him out for dinner and I'll talk about both the hospitals. Right? And when I'm good, right? So I'll say, okay, that's interesting, right? If this business process is being carried out diligently by the company, and this business process is important, then you can easily see the importance of having an M2M relationship, right? But if this relationship is not important, if this business process is not there, then probably you don't even want this. It's not important for us to know whether this contact works for these multiple accounts. It's not important. If it is not important, you say, hey, you know what? Why don't you save some money now? Why do you want this relationship to be stored in this table, in the CBO? It's going to cost you money. This is where all these things come into picture. For example, in case of Boeing, one opportunity can be potentially. One account can have multiple opportunities in most of the businesses. So that's a very important relationship. That's one-to-M for sure. Whether it's M2M is the question mark. We know that one-to-M has to be supported. M2M. What do you think?
M2M or M2M?
M2M, sorry. Now we need to analyze the reverse M. Okay. Whether the reverse M is also right or not. Okay. Right? So that means that we should have an example of one opportunity associated with multiple accounts. Just think, if you are a BA and you're working for Boeing and you're doing this implementation at Boeing, this relationship makes sense as we just discussed, because they might be having a scenario where 2-3 companies are getting together to buy one product because they are selling a big high value product. But let's say you're selling matchboxes. Do you think this reverse relationship is very important? Do you think their business being working like this, that three companies might be getting together to buy one matchbox?
Probably not.
Probably not. You need to understand their business. Talk to the business. That's why we call you business analysts. We guys don't call you developers. You guys are information analysts. You guys look at the information and you guys have the ability to analyze it and see what kind of system fits them, their needs. So you ask them, hey, what do you sell? For example, in Alta Vista, our search listings. We search. They give us search. They give us money for the search listing, right? They say, okay, put our ad there. So our ads are always paid by one particular account. Our ads are always paid by one particular account, and we never ever have an ad which is made by. So let's go to Alta Vista to know what I'm really talking about. There is no there is no display ad. I'm so disappointed to not see there is no display ad. Do you agree?
Yeah.
But these are all ads. So let's talk about this ad. They say that this ad is always given by tmelectronics.com. So in this case, they might say, if they say that, then that means that opportunity will not be having a reverse relationship of M. It will be opportunity to account relationship will be not M. It will be 1.
2-1.
Yes. Right? 2-1.
Right.
Makes sense. You did that, you made a recommendation, they accepted it, they also realized their businesses like that. And do you know, have you ever heard of this line from CEOs that, you know, big changeover is going on, that now you will be able to build. So, but let's say down the line, Alta Vista wants to be able to let 2 companies give 1 opportunity or give 1 order. Do you think it will be possible?
It will be possible.
It will be possible. But you know that system will not be supporting it.
Because it's not set up.
Yes. They'll have to spend top dollars to do that.
So
You will be going in one such project where they will be enhancing the system, adding more functionality into the system for the new needs of the users. So be ready to hear something different. You will be hearing some very vague and really exotic ideas and strange ideas and weird ideas from people. I've gone to a company where they have 7 applets in one view, 7 applets doing something in one view. I've never seen that anywhere else. They had 7 applets, all full of so many hundreds of fields. And I was like, okay, you guys got it, but tell me one thing, who does this thing? Who enters this data? They said that this is what their business is doing that. So be ready to hear weird stuff. Opportunity.
Your job is to give them what they need.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah, they sometimes put like this restrictions that an account can have only 1 contact. You don't want many. I said, that is weird. An account will always have multiple contacts. They said, no, we don't want that. We just want 1 contact. I have been in that business once. The reason was that for them, knowing the contact was not very important. Just 1 contact, and that contact had to be edited by some person only. That was their business process. As part of the process is to do that. I'm not going to get into too much into that because it's too weird in nature. It's going to deviate from the topic. The point is that account to contact, cramming this, memorizing this fact is not going to do you a lot of good. You got to be creative. You got to understand their relationships. You got to understand their business and recommend whether it should be 1 to M or M to 1 or M to M. Okay.
Which is the most expensive?
M to M is always expensive. Okay, let's go to the next one. So parent and child business components typically represent 1 to many or an accord relation. Yeah, sure, if you go behind the scenes, you'll be able to see, but you will probably not be doing that in your entire life. But as far as your job duties are concerned, but I will make you do that once. Okay, so that you guys know what we are talking about here. Example, parent business component. Sure, the account business component is a parent business component for the account context view. Sure. Always remember, all the views in the account, all these views means the account business component will be the, remember I said something here that account name, other SVF, account address table, surrounding table. Yeah. Similarly, if you see, account and opportunity also has a 1 to M relationship. Okay, let's go back.
Hold on, we start with that.
All right. So we talked about that, you know, it will be having, you know, some fields which are of its own, then some fields which could be other SVFs, right? Then there could be MVGs in other table. Then there is another thing which is very important, like these calls. These are also 1 to M relationship. You know, one account will have multiple assets. One account will have multiple bill to ship to locations. One account will have multiple opportunities. Guess what? These opportunities and everything, they are also in separate tables here, right? Mm-hmm. And these also get combined in the business object, in the business logic here, as we talked before, right? Because these are MVFs, these are 1 to M relationships, they all get in the form of business object here. Remember I made a segregation between business component and business object. Business component is essentially all SVFs. Mm-hmm. Remember? Business objects is all about whatever is 1 to M relationship. So wherever, okay, it could be M to M or 1 to M. We call it target relationship is M. Whenever the target relationship is M, it will be in a separate table, that means, and it will get combined together in a business object. So the target relationship is M. That's very important. That's another phrase that we use. 1 to M, M to 1, M to M. Target relationship is M, target relationship is 1. So account to contact. Let's say account to contact is 1 to M. From
Account
account,
contact is one too many. Okay.
let's say, then from account to contact, what is the target relationship? M.
Account. What is an account? Account is the M. No. Account is the 1,
Account is 1,
and your contacts are the M.
M. So what is the target from account to contact?
Account.
Account to contact, the target is M. Target relationship is M. That's how we say it sometimes. Let me
Okay, I'm sorry. Give me another example, and
Sure,
I will
sure,
get
sure,
it.
sure,
I will understand. I'm sorry.
No, it's a thing that I'm basically confusing you completely here.
No.
Yeah. See, account to contact, let's say, is 1. Account to contact, let's say in some system, account to contact is 1 to M.
Right.
That means this is another way to say account to contact target relationship is dash. Fill in the blanks.
Okay.
We call it.
So the target relationship is the contact. You already have the account.
No. We call it target relationship is M.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand it. The target is, since you're saying account to contact, contact is the target. If it was contact to account, then account would be target. Is that correct?
Yeah, but target relationship is M.
Target. So from the account, I'm making it too fucking complicated. From account to contact, target relationship is M, because from the account to the contact, the relationship to the contact
Is M.
is M.
Yes. And what is the contact to account? Is it M or is it 1?
Contact
To account in this case.
would be 1.
Yes. So if the target relationship is 1, the rules are different. If the target relationship is M, the rules are different. Right? Okay. So if you go here in this, if the target relationship is M, that means it definitely will be in a separate table.
Okay.
And if the target relationship is 1, then it will be, it is this example, other SCF. It is within the same table, that's a different story. Okay, then it is gonna be in the same table.
Okay.
So combining this and other SVFs gets done in the business component. This and this come as different business components, and combining all those things together makes a business object. Okay?
Okay.
Coming back. So account to opportunity, the target relationship is M. From account to opportunity, target relationship is
Right,
M.
because the possibility of opportunities is always more than 1.
That's what we are supporting also.
Okay.
And account to bill to ship to here in this case is also 1 to M.
Yeah.
It's M. Profile is also, you know what? I will not talk about profile at this point. Let's skip.
What is it though?
It's
Or
just
is it different every time?
just he has put 4 or 5 things together in one view. Sometimes reps like to see it. That's why they provide it, but it is not relationship. It's just a form. Everything in one form. Remember I was talking
there's
about.
no list here.
Yeah. No, the basic. No, there is activities list is there, but they have put like so many entities in one place.
Yeah. But there's nothing in there.
Yeah, they have put so many things in one place. That's just reps want it sometimes. Remember I was saying that sometimes they put like 7 applets.
Yeah.
This same thing had actually.
Because
7.
it's useful to them.
Yes,
We
they want
don't,
to
we
say
don't
everything in one
understand
place.
it, but it's useful to them, and therefore.
Yes. So yeah. So 1 to account and agreement. How many?
M.
So we are supporting it also. That's very important. So that means the target relationship is M. That means these are in the separate table, and they will get combined together in the business object.
They come from the secondary table because the account is a main table.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Sometimes we call it parent and child also.
Parent.
Right. Perfect. So that is what account business component, the parent business component for the account contacts view. So for the account contacts view, which is basically means account is on top and contacts or professionals are on the bottom. This is what it is. That means this account and this professional, this means this is parent, this is child in that business object. By the way, in this opportunity and this, who is the parent and who is
opportunity? Activities would be the supporting.
Yes, perfect. Yep. Okay. Child business component. The content business component is a child business component for the account contents. Perfect. We all know that. Yes. Right. Determine business component for a view. Help about view. We talked about it. You go here. He'll tell you what the business components are. Opportunity is opportunity business component. Activity is action business component. And by the way, He's rewriting the business object also. Opportunity. All these things combine together to make the opportunity business object. That's the name. Obviously, you're smart. Sorry, developers are smart too. They'll give the name so that they can identify, right?
So let's work them down the road.
Yes. So whatever they want to put in this opportunity screen, they give it, they make it a part of the same business object. Always remember. Okay. SQL applications are characterized by 3 distinct layers, as we already talked multiple times. Data presentation, business logic, data storage. We talked about it. We know everything about it, much more than he's telling here. Important thing is 3 distinct. We can understand. They are this is SQL's beauty. The architecture, the platform SQL is very beautiful in the sense that these 3 layers are very distinct. You can clearly see where the rules are written, where the storage is occurring, and where the presentation rules are written. All 3 things are totally different. You cannot confuse them. Okay. This module showed you how to describe how data is organized behind the user interface, describe the relationship between data in the database and data in the UI, describe the relationship between lists, forms, views, business components, and business objects. So we have completed the chapter 3 quite well actually. Okay.